Hey, welcome. I'm Cath Nolan, once high-performing perfectionist good girl turned goddess of balance, kicking even bigger goals. This is the podcast where we make balance doable for busy, overstretched working women, embracing your voice, honoring your feminine power, and protecting your energy. This allows you to truly step into greatness for the sake of all you hold dear. This is balance, and I am so glad you are here claiming balance for yourself. I lost a relationship once, and it wasn't because it was anybody's fault. No one did anything wrong, but it was because I wasn't the loudest or the most demanding voice in that person's life, a good person. I raised it, I waited, I hoped, and then I walked away. And in hindsight, I recognized that I've actually done the exact same thing in my corporate career. I wasn't invisible. I was contributing, I was leading, I was performing, but I wasn't noisy. I wasn't chasing credit. And in many rooms, that meant that I wasn't remembered. But what if there was an easier way? What if there was a way to stay true to yourself and get ahead? What if you didn't have to choose between blending in or burning out? What if you could be strategic and stay in integrity and still be seen? I'm here to tell you it's not only possible, I've seen it work for clients, for colleagues, and I had to learn it for myself as well. So let's get back though. The polite often get left behind. There is so much advice out there for introverts, plenty of books for the quiet ones. But what about the polite ones? This has bothered me for some time. What about the polite ones? The people who do speak up, who do contribute, but get drowned out by the ones who always talk louder, longer, faster. It's like in primary school, your kid comes home, they're proud, they got 2 gold stars, they've been helpful, they've been focused, they've been kind. But the class troublemaker, they got 23 stars on the same day. Why? Because the troublemaker is being managed. Those stars are carrots. So you grow up, you enter the workforce, and the same thing happens. Gold stars for the squeaky wheels. Meanwhile, the helpful, respectful, capable humans get told just to keep going. Let me be blunt. If you're not getting validation at work, you are not being resilient, my friend. You are being tolerant. And tolerating for too long, it will break you. I have seen it. I've helped people to rebuild after it. So let's not wait for the crash. Let's talk about your power move. What could be? It starts with knowing that politeness is your power. Politeness truly is your power if you know how to use it. So let's talk about how you do that. How do you get validation? How do you get recognition without becoming the loudest person in the room? There's 3 things I want you to know here. The first one, validation matters. Even if you say it doesn't, even if you don't want it to, even if it feels like you're being needy, validation matters because it anchors your sense of identity. Silence nugget for you. Social reward pathways in the brain light up when we feel seen and valued. It's not ego, this is neurobiology. Second one, notice what's missing. If you're not getting validation, name it, claim it, don't dismiss it, acknowledge it. That doesn't mean you necessarily need to, it doesn't mean necessarily that you will get validation from the person you're seeking it from. It also doesn't mean you necessarily will decide to leave that environment straight away. But you definitely need to, if you're not going to get it from where you are, then you need to, number 3, design your own system. Maybe it is feedback loops. Maybe it's peer recognition. Maybe it's a reminder wall at home, but don't wait for scraps. Waiting for scraps in terms of validation, it's a ticket to nowhere fast. So how do you stay on the radar for opportunities? I've been thinking about this one, and I guess try to find the most useful strategies. So when someone needs to be on the radar, it's really a personality-driven. It's a personality-driven thing. Whether which strategies you use depend on the right strategies for the right personality. Yeah. So I've picked these 5 strategies. I'm going to run you through them real quick. The first one is tell the right stories. Tell the right stories. This one is so powerful and so resonant for the clients who I've worked with that I actually wrote one of my books on it. Lost for Words. Yeah. I always look at my shelf when I'm talking about a book because I'm sitting right near the shelf, so the book should be here. It is just here. So tell the right stories. Lost for Words. I wrote Lost for Words because what I found was that helping people to structure their stories is actually a pretty simple thing. So if someone is doing a presentation, helping them to convey that story in a way that is engaging for the people they're connecting with, that's actually pretty straightforward, right? Like you pick the right strategy, you pick the goal, and you match your story to the strategy, to the map that you want to deliver to. It's pretty straightforward. The hardest part is helping people to value their own stories, helping people to work out what are the right stories for them. I keep looking down at the bottom of I keep looking in the wrong spot down here. It's a little bit distracting for me. It must be for you as well. Sorry about that. Let me just ignore myself. You know, the sales of injectables went through the roof during COVID because all the people who had been used to being face to face with people delivering in meetings and work, suddenly they were all staring at themselves staring at themselves in their reflection through the Zoom meetings. Yeah, so injectables went through the roof. Anyway, completely digressing. We want you to tell the right stories. People have huge challenges. I'm getting rid of my face so I'm not distracted. People have huge challenges in valuing their stories and identifying which of their stories are most relevant to the situation they're in right now. Often polite people will be, whether you're polite has no bearing on whether you are introverted, extroverted, fabulous communicator, not so comfortable communicating, no bearing at all. So what I want to tell you is that regardless of your personality, your style, it's crucial that you know which stories to highlight in order to allow your brilliance to shine. Your work doesn't speak for itself, but you do. You speak for your work. If your work, you can do the most brilliant work, but have you ever noticed that the people most competent at their jobs are not necessarily the ones who get the promotions? There's a combination of factors that need to happen for your work to speak for itself. And a large part of that is about telling the right stories. So if you want a deeper dive into this, I will put the link to my book, Lost for Words, in the show notes for this episode in the description. Because I think it's a really short read. You'll read it really quickly. You'll read the book in like 90 minutes. You're done well and truly. But it has some very powerful frameworks that are going to help you to extract what are the most important stories for you to tell that are most relevant to where you're going and what you want to be known for. And then how do you keep track of them and how do you draw them out at the right times? It's all in the book. Okay, so I guess the key takeaway from that one is tell the right stories, use your storybook. So in my book, I talk about building a story bank of relevant stories that connect the dots between what you've done and where you're going. So number 1, tell the right stories. Number 2, know where you want to go. Otherwise, you are just really working very hard in circles. Knowing where you want to go is how you ensure that the stories that you tell are not just stories about what happened on the weekend and, light fluff sort of stories, or even stories about stories that make other people feel good, make other people feel reassured, feel important, feel comfortable. It's important that, of course, there are times for that, but you need to make sure if you don't know where you're going, then it is more likely that your storytelling is going to be based on fluff, and you won't necessarily be known for the right things. Okay, that's number 2, know where you want to go. Number 3, use social media to show up. You don't have to be loud, just consistent. And even with consistency, that doesn't mean that you have to show up, every Wednesday. It just means that you have to have some regularity to it. And I have to say, I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with that, not even love, just a very, very pained relationship with the advice that says you need to be consistent on social media. I think for polite people, for friendly people who are looking to establish their profile. So if you're working in an environment where your best is not seen and celebrated, using social media to develop a larger profile, a deeper profile, a more consistent message, that's super important and so powerful for you. It's an amazing tool. Your voice matters, even if your workplace doesn't always reflect that back. And social media is an amazing opportunity for you to build that really strong presence that allows you to get leverage based on your true worth, regardless of who might be holding you up in your current workplace. Okay, number 4, book the meetings. Book the meetings. Schedule a time with people who can open doors. Don't wait to be discovered. Work out who the advocates are and book the meetings. Book the meetings. There will be another episode coming soon on building connections. I think it's phenomenally important in the role that you're in now and in landing the next role, in leveraging the role you're in now and also landing your next role. The connections that you build are vital. So stay tuned for that one. And number 5 is question the game. Question the game. So if I've just said that number 4 is book in the meetings, schedule the time with people who can open in doors internally. Number 5 is question that those are actually the right people. Are those really the right people? Maybe you need to go wider. So maybe you need to go one step higher. Maybe you need to go one step wider. Who else in your industry do you need to connect with? Question the game. Different audience, bigger stage, new industry altogether. Question the game. So I think that there's a concept that rings really true for me, and that is that you can't be what you can't see. And of course you can be what you can't see. There are trailblazers everywhere, but certainly it's much easier to put in the persistence, to be persistent and keep going when you know that there are others for whom it's already worked, yeah? So I want to give you some names. Excuse me, I've been talking too much today. My voice is going. Sorry about that. Sorry. So Ash Barty. Ash Barty is one. Amazing tennis player, of course. But she's not just known for tennis. Her success is not just because she won the games, she won the tennis matches. That's not the only reason why she's had success. Ash is grounded, reserved, strategic. She's built a huge brand around grace and grit. Her online profile has been largely what's contributed to the sponsorship deals that she's received over time, and worth every one of them. Melanie Perkins, Canva, you're the Canva founder, completely did it her way. She's vision driven, she's softly spoken, she's quietly powerful and extraordinarily powerful. Hugely successful businesswoman, hugely successful in all different ways. Sorry, distracted by a child going past. You got what you need? Great, okay. Julia Gillard, oh my goodness, another one. Julia Gillard, when I met Julia, yes, it's complete and unabashed name dropping. When I met Julia, our Julia, gosh, she's so personable and extraordinarily warm, so friendly. Her stories are incredibly powerful. But when I met her, we were both speaking at the same conference, a national conference in Canberra for women in leadership. And that calm clarity up close, you don't have to shout to be a force. You don't have to shout to be a force. Professor Emma Johnson, another one, marine biologist, brilliant communicator, turned science into stories and built influence through education, not through ego. She's just been announced the Vice-Chancellor at Melbourne University. These women did not win because they changed themselves. They won because they played to their strengths on purpose. They leant into it and they succeeded. So I guess what I want to wrap this up with is that if you are a values-driven, kind, polite professional, You don't need to become someone else to get ahead. You just need to learn how to use what you already are strategically. You can get noticed, you can get recognized, you can lead on your terms. Politeness is your power if you know how to use it. So go use it. You know, I believe that women do help other women. I hope that this episode has empowered you to question your willingness to go last. I hope that you will embrace balance, and I'm also hoping that you will help me to help other women to do the same. So how can you help? Show your support for the work. Subscribe and review the podcast here where you're listening. Follow the Goddess of Balance on Instagram to catch some cheeky behind the scenes and extras. Connect with me on LinkedIn and share the posts with your network. That would be sensational. If you have enjoyed this program, this episode, you will no doubt love my group coaching program. You got to find all the links to these in the little written blurb for this episode. Thank you, my friend, for normalizing balance with me. We are raising performance and reputations, wellness and equality. Together, we're creating positive change for working women, starting with you. Sincerely, I thank you for being part of the movement.